My voice is going.
Pepsi Max, it cures all ills.
My nose is going as well. Just make sure it's no my arse going next.
No, definitely. Far too much stuff in here for you to move out the road to get out the door.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone and welcome to the next episode of the iReady podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek and with me is my co-host Dave. How you doing, Dave?
Or Dr. Doom, as I think I'll be called during this podcast, because it's not been the best few days for us Rangers fans, has it?
No, but we won 6-0 though, Dave, remember that?
Yeah, no bother, Phil.
Yes, we've got a bit of doom and gloom. Obviously a decent result to start off with, but it really means nothing because we lost the big one the game after. So without further ado, we may as well go down the tunnel and onto the park and start this ramble.
Yes.
So we may as well go and start off at the main thing because the transfer window slammed shut. I think I'm legally obliged to say, aren't I?
Yes, I think, yeah. Well, it's certainly in our country it's slammed shut. It's still open in certain other countries, but the UK is definitely closed now.
Yes. So, Dave, I'm going to struggle to pronounce this. I don't know how Tom Miller's going to get in on with this one.
Really looking forward to that one.
Yes. Nerashau. See what I mean?
Oh,
Can't
my
even say it
goodness.
already. Nerashau Casanwiro.
I'll go with the guy that we got for Feyenoord.
Aye, that's probably a better idea. Yes, a season-long loan from Feyenoord with the option for a permanent deal. A 22-year-old defender as well. I don't know much about him, Dave, but I think you maybe do.
Yeah, well, I only know that he is a centre-half that can also play at right back. So, a bit more versatility there. And if he's half as good as our versatile player that we've got in Dujon Sterling, will be doing well. So, certainly come from a good pedigree. I don't know much else about him though. Only time will tell if he manages to fit in and settle into Scottish football. But certainly looks as if he could be a decent player going by what I've read.
With a bit of luck, because we need it.
Yeah.
The second player we got in was Nadim Barjami. I think that's how you pronounce that. 25-year-old midfielder from Italian club Sassuolo. It was on a permanent deal. From what I'm led to believe, I think it was originally negotiated as a loan with a view to buy, but it turned out to be a permanent deal. Rangers, as ever, have announced it as undisclosed. However, it's thought to be about £3.5 million. So, a bit strange considering that there was no money.
Yeah.
It started off as a loan and then all of a sudden we're paying £3.5 million for this player.
It's a decent amount of money considering how things are at the moment with the club. So, obviously, this guy's been seen as being the big signing that Phil's brought in, and from what I've heard about him and the way that he plays, a proper number 10, which is what we're really missing, aren't we? A guy that really likes to attack, goes all out. He's got a bit more stature about him, I think, than what we've got at the moment. So I'm quite positive about this guy. He's he's got the pedigree behind him, playing in Italy. So again, fingers crossed that he manages to come and settle in and hit the ground running when he gets his first game.
Well, I mean, you stole the words there, because hitting the ground running is what people might know him from, because he scored 23 seconds into the game against Italy in the Euros just this summer there. So he comes with a wee bit of a name for himself, so hopefully he can make as big an impact as he did in that game.
Yeah, definitely.
That was on deadline day. They were waiting to announce them, and then it turned out that there was apparently a loan deal for Samuel Udozie. Apparently was getting done, failed to materialise. Apparently we pulled out. Fans on deadline day unhappy about it. Again, it goes to show my theory might be correct, that fans don't care who we sign on deadline day. They just want signings. And I'm pretty sure that he wasn't on anyone's radar before the deal transpired was maybe about to happen. So, yeah, now that we maybe hear the fact that the deal was about to get made and it never materialised, bit disappointing.
Yeah, in hindsight, maybe something that we wish that we could have got through, considering the injury, which you'll get into in a wee while, of Rabbi Matondo in the left wing. I didn't know much about the guy, but again, I was reading when we were strongly linked with him, and this guy again at one point was getting rated at about £20 million when he first hit the scene. Playing in the Championship, apparently he was really good, and a lot of fans were really excited when we were getting linked with him, but wasn't to be. So again, just a shame, because I think he possibly again could have been a good player, but like you said, the proof's in the pudding and we don't actually know, so we can't comment about it. It's fell through, but maybe something that'll rematerialise come January.
The outgoings now, Ben Davis, he's on a season-long loan to Birmingham. I don't know if there's a view to a permanent deal at the end of that there. Scott Wright left on a permanent deal to Birmingham as well. That was an undisclosed fee. He actually scored the winner in his debut as well, so
yeah,
that happens quite a bit, doesn't it?
Quite mental. Birmingham, for playing in League One, I mean, they went out and spent £15 million on a player during the transfer window, so it shows you that the finances are incredible, and obviously backed by one of my fleeting heroes for the NFL, Tom Brady. And I saw a wee tweet the other day which I had a wee chuckle at, and it was somewhere Tom Brady is cheering on Scott Wright scoring in the last minute on Birmingham City, and I thought, that's quite good. But Derek, I'm pleased for Scott Wright, because we all knew he was never going to be a superstar for Rangers. He was a bit part player in the squad. He always came in and done his best. Was he good enough? No, he wasn't. But, he scored the goal at Hampden in the cup final, and, he always did try his best. But we just knew that he wasn't, the classy player that we needed. And I'm pleased that he's down there. He's in League One. He looks as if he's going to be getting at a game. He scored that winner, so best of luck to him. Don't know if Davis played in that game or not. I'm not sure. But yeah, we need to move on, and he was certainly one of the players that we've been trying to get out the door, wasn't he?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, this is the thing where we wish him well. As you said, he always tried, and that's one thing you can never say about him, that he didn't try, because he certainly did. Whereas the next player I'm going to talk about, right. Todd Cantwell, secured a permanent deal to Blackburn for an undisclosed fee. However, the rumours were that it was about £500,000 or £600,000. Now, some fans were absolutely raging about that, and it's like, no, you've got rid of a toxic player who has devalued himself by wanting to go. And yeah, maybe it played out more publicly than it should have done, but he said he wants to go. The manager's got to get out there and say that he wanted to get transferred, so he devalued himself. He was a toxic player in the end. You needed rid of him because, one, he was a wage hog, and two, you didn't want that toxicity going around the rest of the squad, did you?
It's a shame. It is a big shame, because the guy did have it talent-wise. He just didn't have it mentally. And another player, and I don't care what anybody says, in 20 years' time, he'll look back and say, I really blew it there, realising the size of the club, because he'll never get a club the size of us to play for again. So, yep, disappointed it didn't work out for him, but like you said, with the way things panned out, we really had to get rid of him as quickly as possible and move on.
Yep. Also, there was apparently an offer for Dessers that was accepted by the club from an MLS side, I believe, but Dessers turned it down because he wanted to stay at Rangers. So, kind of a blessing in disguise, that one, because we literally don't have any strikers really that are fit and ready. And as much as people can criticise him, and he's got his faults, and he's again in that bracket of players who we know that are not quite our level that we need, there's still a player there. I'm
going to whisper this. Ignominy.
You're an ignoramus.
Me and you are going to differ, because I know what you're going to say in this game a bit about him. I'm actually quite looking forward to it. It's about the only part of us, the summary of the Celtic game that I'm looking forward to is speaking to you, because me and you have got varying opinions about that substitution. But yeah, you know my feelings about Dessers, Derek. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, apart from Sunday there, where I thought it was absolutely dreadful, but we will get into that soon. Yeah.
There was also apparently a loan offer from England for Matondo, but we turned it down. I think it was either too late in the day, or we didn't want, they weren't paying enough wages of him, or it was a case of we couldn't have got a replacement in time.
Possibly that was maybe the reason why they never got that Edozie. That may have played a big part, considering they're both playing the same position, and if they'd have fell through and one had went, one hadn't, it would have been a bit of a mess. So possibly that's the reason that didn't go through.
Yep. And the last player I've got to talk about here is Hadji. Now, he issued a statement towards the end of the window stating that he loves the club, he never once asked to leave, he's willing to play, and intimated he's willing to sort any situation, which in other words is wages. Now, his dad and agent were angling for a move away all transfer window. He's been told he's not in Clement's plans and he was to find another club. Apparently he turned down a deal that was agreed with Rapid Bucharest. His dad said that will not be happening, and the only club that he's signing for is the club that he's linked with.
Yeah.
He's ultimately a player who has talent, but he's blue hot and cold when he's played with us. And we're at the stage now that he never left, and I think if there's a deal to be done to sort his wages, I think we need to play him.
They've got to. They can't have him sitting playing for the B team once every 2 weeks. I understand what you said, Derek. He had a lot of injury problems, but when he did turn it on, he was fantastic. But it wasn't consistent enough. But still better than a lot better than some of the options that we've currently got in the squad. And like you, if they can get a deal done, they need to get it done, because he is too good a player not to be involved in the squad.
He's probably on too high a wage now as well, just to be involved in the B team.
100%, yeah.
So just to sum up the last couple of transfers there, I've said before, in Todd Cantwell, we had another Josh Windass, a player with talent but thinks he's better than he really is.
A very good comparison, to be fair, very good.
And I would say similar to Hadji, because in Hadji we've got another Dean Windass situation, an overbearing dad who calls the shots and he doesn't want to understand that his son maybe isn't as good as he actually thinks he is either. So yeah,
I would put Hadji in a much higher level than Josh Windass, to be fair.
And Dean Windass for that one.
Yeah, so no, it's just like we said, I think it is a waste to have a player like that sitting doing nothing, who's not going to be moving on, unless there is a late bid from a country, possibly in the Far East, whose transfer window hasn't closed yet. You might still find that he will be away, but if not, they need to get him in there.
Yeah. So obviously there's still options to look at some free transfers as well, so I don't know if that's materialising. Clement has said that he is looking there, but whether that actually happens, I don't know. From some of the names, I can't remember them offhand, but there's some good names there. Whether they're in the positions or we can meet their wage demands is another story, so we'll need to wait and see over the next few weeks if that happens. But again, we're lacking in several positions that we need filled, and we need that quality in there as well.
Ryan Jack come back?
Well, no. As much as some of these players might be good, see if they've got a history of injuries, get them away.
But you just know he'll get picked up by somebody and play every single game in the season without picking up a single injury, and he'll be outstanding. Not doubting the guy's ability, but again, it's just far too unreliable when it comes to injuries.
Yeah. Clement made a statement in one of the pressers before the window closed, and he said that there'll be more incomings than outgoings, and that obviously never materialised. So in that respect there, I don't know what he was talking about. He said some weird things which we'll get into towards the end of the Celtic game. The window overall, we knew it was going to be a busy one. I think we've had, not counting the loan signings that either left out a contract or came back in, I think there was 9 incomings and 13 outgoings, so it's been a busy window.
Yeah.
There's been a few signings like Ignomani that a bit of strange ones. We spend a lot of money on them and they're not fully fit to even play in Scotland or not at the level, whatever. There's a few players that are questionable. I think so far what we've seen, there's been a few players that have came in that have been actually relatively good. Jeffrey and Cherny, I would have said that, and obviously Barron, but we'll just need to wait and see, and we'll get into the Celtic game about how lacking the team is.
Yeah, yep.
So the first game we've got to cover was on Saturday the 24th of August. It was a 6-0 win at home against Ross County in the Premiership. So that game we lined up Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Balogun, Jeffrey, Barron, Sterling, Lawrence, Matondo, Cherny and Dessers. On the subs bench we had Kelly, Diamandi, Dill, King, McCausland, Fraser, McKinnon, Rice and Danilo. So Dave, it was a fantastic performance.
Yep.
So it should be.
Yep, definitely probably the best performance we've had under Philip Clement, would you say, so far? Which is certainly for attacking play, certainly for how fluid the front four were. For a change, it was like a breath of fresh air, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the 8th minute, there was a quick break from Ross County after our attack. It was a shot from the edge of the box and a great save from Butland. All stemmed from us attacking with some good play with Tavan Cherny. Tavernier getting the ball back and refusing to shoot, and he ended up playing a duff pass, which then Ross County broke from that. So once again, we're in the position of attacking. We lose the ball cheaply, and then they go up and have the first dangerous attack, which puts the keeper under pressure.
Yeah.
However, we did score on the 18th minute with Dessers getting his first goal. It was a nice ball from Jeffy to Lawrence in the middle of the park, a lovely touch and turn, skips past the defender, slides it to Dessers in the box on the left, who blasts it past the keeper. A lovely goal in the 4th of the season for Dessers.
Yep, no, it was a great move, really decisive. No faffing about, passing the ball here, there and everywhere. For a change, he just got the ball in front of him, knew what he was doing, and it was 1-0. That's the Dessers that we're looking for. Just no indecision, just get the ball in the back of the net.
Yep. On the 21st minute, Dessers again breaks on the right, holds it up, turns and passes to Lawrence, who tries to do a Dessers and shoot it home, but ends up putting it wide. On the 25th minute, Dessers turns the defender on the halfway line, gets it forward into the box, was taken out at the edge of the box, but the ball falls to Matondo on the left side, who shoots and hits the bar and out, so really unlucky that there. On the 40th minute, there was a short corner which was whipped into the middle for Suter to get a head on it, and he forced the keeper to tip it out for the corner. I mean, Suter with a header in the box, my God. 43rd minute, corner from Tavernier. It was cleared. A nudge on Barron near the halfway line. The referee gives no foul. A quick break from Ross County, who managed to get a shot off, and saved by Butland. No idea why that wasn't given as a foul. On the 45th minute, Balogun had to go off injured and Diomande came on. Balogun had gone down earlier in the Suter header chance, and it was a shoulder or neck injury. I think that was just the way he landed, and then the Ross County player landed on top of him as well. So, just typical our luck that one there.
I know.
However, we did go 2-0 up just before half-time in the same minute on the 45th minute with Matondo scoring. Diomande straight away involved with a nice 1-2 with Tavernier down the right. Tavernier with a great cross into the middle. Matondo gets in front of the centre-back and taps it home. Brilliant.
Great goal and great awareness by Matondo. Something that we've not really seen him do, making that late run to act like the second striker. So, yeah, fantastic. Great goal.
So great time to get the goal as well. At 1-0 going into half time, you were thinking as usual, we're struggling here, why can't we just get a second goal? When there's only one goal in it, it's always going to be edgy. However, that put our mind at rest. Definitely, and I think that reflected in the way we played in the second half.
Yep.
So in the 53rd minute, there was plenty of possession trying to find a space, ending in Diomande having a powerful shot outside the box just past the right post. 55th minute, a nice move ending in Dessers playing a nice cross ball across the edge of the box to Jeffy, who shoots and it hits the side netting. It was good play all round. However, we made it 3-0 on the 58th minute with Dessers getting his second of the game. Lots of possession, Barron to Matondo, in the centre near the goal, drives it to the left, past the defender, shimmies past another, gets to the touchline, a nice cross across goal, and Dessers with a simple tap in there. Absolutely brilliant all round.
Yeah, Matondo, superb. Like I said, possibly his best performance in a Rangers shirt. It was outstanding, especially in the second half.
Yes, and as I made the joke on the post-match, there was obviously talk just before this game that he was going to get a move down south, so maybe that was playing on his mind.
Well, it certainly didn't look like it. There was no nerves or anything there, because he was excellent in this game.
Yep. We went 4-0 up on the 65th minute with Lawrence scoring. A fantastic move right from our touchline with Tavernier getting the ball from the attacker. A long ball to the halfway line to Dessers, who has great hold-up play, passes to Matondo, who mazily gets the ball forward, plays a lovely through ball to Lawrence, who dinks it past the keeper. What a move, Dave.
Yeah, and a great finish as well. You've got to say, by Lawrence, I was giving him some stick before he scored, just because the way that the front four were playing and him not being able to score, but that was certainly an excellent move and a really good goal.
Yes. 66th minute, he went off just after that because Lawrence and Dessers off, Dowell and Danilo on. And then in the 69th minute, we made it 5-0 with Matondo getting his second of the game. Cherny on the right gets past the defender, a lovely cross into the middle, and Matondo with a superb back heel flick off the defender's head and in at the back of the net. Maybe a wee bit of fortune there off the defender's head, but it was going goal round anyway, so he got given the goal.
A great goal, and great awareness, fantastic.
75th minute, Matondo and Cherny off, Fraser and McCausland on. 81st minute, Dill with a flicked header towards goal after the ball was floated into the box, but no power to it and easy for the keeper. 89th minute, Danilo got the ball in the box, a bad touch by him, goes to the defender, but a bad touch by the defender. Danilo then picks that loose ball up, has a great curling shot and a good save by the keeper out for the corner. And on the 90th minute, the last piece of play, Danilo makes it 6-0. Diomande floats the ball into the centre of the box from the left. The defender tries to clear it, hits off his own player in the box, falls to Danilo, who picks it up and shoots into the back of the net. Again, maybe a wee bit of fortune with that one there, but he still has to be aware to pick up that loose ball, and it was great play from Diomande as well.
Yep, and really pleased for him, after all these injury problems, to come on as a sub and, get the goal that he was looking for. You could see how emotional he was when he scored that there, so just a great way to round up a really good performance.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a very good performance for all round. Even Tavernier was pretty decent in that game.
Yeah, his best game for us this season, yep.
However, I did say we weren't tested defensively, really, so that might add into it. But certainly it was a great way to get a good confidence booster going into the Old Firm game. I wouldn't say we were overly confident on the back of this, but I do feel that there was a slightly better feeling going into the game because of that result. You could see things clicking in that game. Oh, how wrong we were, Dave.
Yeah, how totally and utterly wrong we were.
Yes, because on Sunday, the 1st of September, it was a 3-0 loss away against Celtic in the Premiership. Dave, it was an utter shit show.
It was a complete shambles from about the 10th minute of the match. It was a complete and utter horror show. I'll let you get into the team, I'll let you get into the game, and I'll give you my thoughts on it, because there's quite a lot to speak about here, and there's absolutely nothing positive that I've got to put on it.
So we lined up Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Proper, Jeffrey, Barron, Sterling, Diomande, Cherny, Matondo and Dessers. On the subs bench we had Kelly, Lawrence, Casawajiro, Balogun, Igamani, Raskin, McCausland, Fraser and Danilo. So a decent-ish team, I would have said, to put out there.
Well, I would possibly say our strongest team to put out against Celtic at Celtic Park, with a more sort of defensive midfield trio, rather than I was terrified that Tom Lawrence was going to get put in there as a number 10. But when I saw Sterling in there, hoping that he was going to just sit in front of the back four, let Diomande and Barron be sort of box to box, and then we were really just hoping that, like say, Matondo was going to be in the same form he was the week before, and Dessers, but just turned into a complete and utter shit show.
Yep. On the first minute, it was a long free kick from the left, floated into the back post, Proper with a header across goal, but it was too high and powerful. 4th minute, a shot from distance from Celtic, but well wide. 6th minute, nice play, working the ball through the middle to Dessers, who receives it, sidesteps, shoots, but it was weak and right at the keeper. It probably was going to be ruled offside in any case, but he has to be putting his laces through it and getting in, and that was one of the very few chances we had. And it was just such a weak effort.
I had a feeling after he did that it wasn't going to be his game, because really, when you get a chance like that early on against Celtic, you really need to be at least making the goalkeeper pull off an outstanding save. But it was just so lacklustre. It was so powder puff. It was so inaccurate. It was actually really, really poor finishing by Dessers. Really poor, considering he is on form at the moment. It was really poor.
I'm not even going to defend him for that, Dave.
Oh my god, that shows you how bad it is.
Yeah. 10th minute, very patient build-up, a nice cross from the right from Tavernier. Matondo, who again was slightly offside, gets his head to it, but he puts it wide. Again, has to be getting that on target. Regardless if you're offside or not, the player's not thinking, oh, I'm offside here, or I hope he's not anyway. But you've got to be getting it on target, putting the keeper under pressure. So up until that point, we were very, very good. I felt we were actually pressing Celtic all over the park. We were actually forcing Celtic into mistakes. There was a few wayward passes. They ended up having to put passes out for a throw-in sometimes because we were actually putting them under pressure. 11th minute, Celtic had the ball in the back of the net, however. It was straight from that move from ending in the header from Matondo, right up the park, the ball down the right from midfield, nobody picking it up, across on the deck to the centre of the box, and Kyogo with a simple tap in. The initial pass was offside and ruled off, so it was a massive let off there. Now, there's a lot of Celtic fans after the game dissecting that one wee thing, saying that how can that be ruled offside? It was a shoulder, blah blah blah. VAR was quite clear. As much as it was a very, very slight offside, it was still an offside. So you might not like the rule, but that's the rules as it is just now. It was offside, Dave.
It was offside, but very worrying that Celtic, once again, as they have done to us time and time again, pick the ball up in midfield, no one going anywhere near the centre midfielder, the ball played through the defence to almost the byline, the ball's cut back, Kyogo's in there, completely unmarked, and puts the ball in the back of the net. How many times against Celtic have they scored an almost identical goal against us? Thankfully, at that point, it was offside, but that's when I thought to myself, alarm bells should be ringing with the fact that happened. The players should be looking at themselves. This is where the more experienced players should have been speaking and saying we need to get a lot closer, make sure that doesn't happen again. And did it happen again? Yes, it did.
I mean, the only surprising thing about the initial offside goal is the fact that it never came down Tav's side, because that's normally where they attack. But yeah, alarm bells ringing from that moment there. We should have learned from it. We should have galvanised from it. But we've done the exact opposite. Our arses collapsed, and
Totally.
it was visible to see.
Yep.
We shrunk within ourselves. We went into our shell, and then from that moment on until the final whistle, we allowed Celtic to run over the top of us. And Celtic did score on the 16th minute, and they made it 1-0 with a very, very similar move. Celtic on the right, three of them knocking it about. A ball dinked through three of our defenders to the touchline. A cutback cross, proper. Has to slip at the most inopportune time, and it was a simple shot by Maida past the keeper. An absolute shambles of a defence, no marking, and again we didn't learn from that last offside goal.
Yeah, and again it comes down to the marking again. We all know what they're going to do to us. We can see it happening. We all know what the game plan is here. They are attacking our fullbacks because they know that they're going to get space, and they're cutting the ball back to either a striker or their winger running in for the other side, like exactly what it was, and nobody is tracking them. What the hell is going on?
This is not a new thing, Dave. That's the thing.
I know, it happens. It's time and time again. Celtic have got the easiest game plan to play against us. Easy. As long as they've got their fast wingers in Kyogo, who looks like the reincarnation of blooming Gianluca Vialli against us in his prime, because it's so easy for him. It's so easy for him to find space in the box. And it's so easy for the Celtic wingers or fullbacks to pick him out in the box because we don't mark him.
No. On the 30th minute, it was a corner from Celtic which was headed to the back post and flashed across goal. No takers there, fortunately. 37th minute, a quick break from Celtic again down the right. Overlap again a cutback. The shot this time was blocked, but goes to the Celtic player who gets it back across goal, and a shot from the left and wide. It was just so easy to cut us apart again. 38th minute, injury struck again because Matondo had to go off and McCausland came on. Now I think he had tried to play on after an incident that happened. I can't remember if he had pulled something, but why did he play on if it was going to be an issue? And now it looks as if he's going to be out for a good few weeks now, isn't he?
Yeah, it does, yep. And again, I'd hate to have a go at players, especially the young players, but McCausland came on and I think by far his worst performance for Rangers, and he is. I'm saying he's a young guy. He's not that young, and he knows what it is to play for Rangers. But again, just a poor substitution to bring him on, especially on the left hand side when he's a right winger also. But we obviously didn't have anybody else on the bench that could have came in and played at that position.
It's just, you're talking about youngsters. This guy has had enough game time now to know what it is about. He's played in Old Firm games before as well. Not the only one, but he had an absolute shocker of a performance. Anyway, on the 40th minute, Celtic made it 2-0 and basically put the game out of our hands, and it was Kyogo scoring. We tried to pass forward. We lost out in the halfway line. 2 passes to Kyogo, who shoots from 20 yards past Butland into the bottom right corner. How many more times? Once again, losing possession needlessly. Once again, Butland beat at his bottom left corner. Acres of space he gave him as well. Just not positioned correctly and getting beat at that near side, and plus as well the fact that we're losing possession so easy.
It was such a catalogue of failure by the whole team. The midfield just completely disappeared. Diomande, who Derek, I have liked since he's came in, he was absolutely dreadful, missing in action so many times, dundering about, dithering on the ball, nowhere to be seen, and the Celtic midfield just basically walked through us completely unchallenged. And then that ball to Kyogo, nobody anywhere near him. For him to be able to just get the ball, turn, run to the edge of the box with not a single player near him, and then Jack Butland, what is he playing at? I mean, an international class goalkeeper to be standing away over at his right hand post, giving Kyogo that huge area to shoot in low. Wasn't even a thunderbolt of a shot either. It was placed along the ground because he knew that Butland was going to be just a complete and utter disaster of a goal. Absolutely shocking from every single player that should have been involved that wasn't, right down to the goalkeeper completely. And it was easily avoided too if the marking was just so much better. He would never have got the ball in the first place, but it wasn't. So total catalogue of disasters.
Even if the initial pass, we never lost the ball, it would never have happened. You mentioned Diomande there on the 44th minute, an absolute piece of disgraceful play from him. He was just strolling about after a chance to get the ball. He doesn't even attempt for it. When he realised he wasn't going to get it, he just gave up and never tracked back or anything, and he just strolled about. It looked almost as if he had shrugged his shoulders. That, to me, there should have been an instant hooking for me.
But as in punching the face or just taking off?
Well, both, preferably. But it was that attitude right there that the captain should have seen. This leads back to something I'll get in towards the end of the game, but the captain doesn't seem to be instilling the belief in these players, and this is why a lot of people wanted, including myself, wanted them gone at the end of the season, because you could see he's just not got it anymore. But anyway, on this 46th minute, a Celtic attacker dancing about our box, no challenges, nobody tracking to get him. He had a shot and it was a Butland save. 48th minute, we had a nice move through the Celtic defence, ending in a flick ball by Dessers through to Tierney, but too close to goal and he couldn't quite get the ball, and that was half time. So certainly Diomande would have been first hooked there. There could have been every other player though as well getting hooked at half time, but we had nobody, Dave. Why was there no subs at half time?
I know, the midfield should have been changed straight away. Just something to stop the rot, but it's like a reoccurring nightmare when we play Celtic. We start off the game quite strongly in the first 10 minutes, and then we give the ball away cheaply. Celtic score with their usual move, and then it's backs against the wall, and then Celtic kill the game off before half time, and then the second half is just a complete, there's absolutely no chance for us to get back in the game because Celtic are so far into it and we don't seem to change anything. And like you said, there is nobody on that pitch going absolutely mental. It's like there's no way that you can tell me that any player with a bit of self-respect that plays for Rangers and know what it's like would not be standing in the middle of that park going absolutely mental. Or, if they can't do that, doing something positive by trying to get players to be marking who they should be marking. A midfield general just in there to tell everybody what they should be doing. And I know that's what the manager's supposed to do, but when you're on the pitch, you need players that can do that. And we had absolutely nothing. They looked completely clueless. Completely and utterly clueless.
It's almost like the team have gone woke. We've listened to HR too much and that you're not allowed to shout at players. That's what it seems to be. But anyway, into the second half, on the 47th minute, McCausland putting the defender under pressure on the left side. He wins the ball, gets it to Dessers, who shoots from the right side and an easy take from the keeper. Again, another poor effort. Just put your bloody laces through it. 48th minute, a shot in the box from Celtic, but an easy take from Butland. 52nd minute, we had lots of possession, ending in a hopeful ball bouncing from the left side. Suter tries to shoot, but tries to place it rather than blasting it. It was blocked, then eventually cleared for the corner. 57th minute, eventually Diomande was hooked and Lawrence came on for him. 59th minute, Celtic with a quick break forward after a pass through our defence. Kyogo tries to dink the ball over Butland, who had come out to meet the ball, but fortunately it hits the side netting. 62nd minute, a long ball from the right side into the box, bounces away from Dessers, collected by McCausland on the left side, who tries to take it first time and high and wide. He had time, just completely lacked composure.
Laughable if you weren't a Rangers supporter at that point.
Yep. 63rd minute, a nice move through the middle, ended on Lawrence feeding the ball to the left. A good ball back into the middle, and McCausland gets a shot off, but hits it well wide to the right. Very poor from McCausland, that one there. 66th minute, Proper nearly scored another OG after a cross in from the right. He just sticks out a leg nonchalantly. It was going in, and an absolute fantastic save from Butland to put it out for the corner. This is something Proper needs to work on, because that's the second time he's done that. He scored an OG the first time, and nearly done it if it wasn't for...
And it was almost identical as well, the way it happened.
Yeah. And to round the game off for Celtic, they scored on the 75th minute to make it 3-0. We were dithering about with the ball near the edge of our box. We tried to pass it forward. Once again, we lost possession needlessly. Falls to McGregor, who sidesteps to create space for himself and hits a shot, takes a slight deflection into the back of the net. This is the only goal I won't blame Butland in part for, because that deflection just took it right away from him. He couldn't do anything about that. But once again, giving the ball away needlessly. And here's the difference. Celtic players get a sniff of the shot, they take it, regardless if it might be hitting off a player or not. They take that shot. We look for the perfect angle, and then we still don't shoot.
Yep, totally. And how the hell is he getting a shot away when he gets the ball in midfield? Nobody marking once again, and him getting the time to pick his spot. And I know, like you said, it deflected, but he shouldn't have even been able to get into that position to have a shot at goal. But he did, and it was quite easy for him to do it as well.
Yeah. 78th minute, we got forward. Nice floated ball from the left side of the box by McCausland to the back post, which found Tavernier on the volley but saved. That was actually quite a decent move, that one there. And on the 80th minute, I kind of lost the will to take notes at this point. Proper, Czerny and Sterling off, Balogun, Ignomani and Raskin on. Now this is where it gets controversial for me, Dave, because granted, he composed himself very well and I felt he handled the situation very well. But this Ignomani is a youngster who has come from Morocco, who has apparently been deemed not of the level, not of the standards just now because of the league he's came from, to play against Motherwell, against Ross County. He can't get any game time. He can't even get on the bench for these games. But then he can be on the bench for the biggest game of the season against your biggest rivals. We're 3-0 down and Clement brings him on. That surely is no way to manage the situation. I mean, fortunately, it looks as if he's strolled through it.
Yes.
But it could have turned it the other way.
The way that I see it, he was deemed as not being at the levels to play a few games ago. He was seen. But we don't know what's happening in the training ground. He's obviously came in, he's obviously been training, he's obviously looked the sort of player that they are trying to get. And when he did come on, I thought to myself, he's actually caused a bit more problems when he came on than what Dessers has done in the whole game. So I had no issues with the guy coming on, and I thought, why not bring him on and let him? This is the most hostile crowd that he'll get playing in Scotland. He's only going to get 10 minutes. He's got nothing to lose because the team are playing so badly. So I actually didn't think it was that bad a situation to put him in, because we were never going to win. So he could have basically done anything and it wouldn't have taken away from how bad the rest of the team were. The biggest thing that got for me was we needed someone in midfield that could take a hold of the ball, and the only player that we had on the bench that could do that was Raskin, and that was the one for me. He should have been on for the start of the second half, and we're talking about how bad Diomande was. That would have been the one that I would have made. It would have been Raskin to sit in the middle of the park to try and calm things down. But again, it was left to the last 10 minutes. That's
the thing. At 2-0, there's still a possibility of a comeback, because we've done it before against Celtic. At 3-0, the game's done. Mm-hmm. There's no way of coming back from that, especially in the 75th minute. So it was all about half-time. The lack of substitutions at half-time, I think, killed us. And I don't know why there was no substitutions. Anyway, the aftermath of the game, there's always something that happens. Some fans confronted Clement outside Ibrox, telling him just get players signed. He's directing that at the wrong person. It's not him that signs the players.
Just get players signed after the transfer window shut.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Absolutely pointless.
The maybe more concerning thing here is one fan gave Tavernier verbal abuse, saying that he's a loser, to which Tavernier snapped back. So giving Tavernier, or any player for that matter, abuse after the game and being confronted like that, I don't think is on in the slightest, Dave. Do it during the match, do it while he's still on the park after full-time whistle. Do it then. But he's after the game now, he's coming out of the stadium. That's no way to act. That's kind of something that they do. However, I can understand why the anger and where the anger from the fans has come from. The club, the player and his agent have actually put Tavernier in this position. It was quite clear he needed to go at the end of last season. It's quite clear that he's either not been training during pre-season, or he's actually lost that much even from the end of last season. I don't know which one it is. Tavernier, we need to stop remembering Tavernier for what he's done. We need to remember him for what he's doing just now, and that is sweet fuck all. He's a hindrance to the team. He gets bandied this about he's not a captain. I don't see it on the park. He's not commanding the players. Barry Ferguson was in the stands, and a lot of talk online afterwards. Barry Ferguson, I don't think, would have let the players like Diamandi get away with what he done on that park that day.
The question I've got just now, and I agree with you 100%, Tav is a shadow of the player that he was a couple of seasons back. We saw the deterioration of him last year, and this year he looks even half of that, which is really, really poor. He's lost any pace that he had whatsoever. He is not putting any half-decent balls into the box like what he used to do. We've not even I don't even think we've had a free kick this season that he's taking for outside the box, not one that I can remember. So that attacking threat that he had, which made him stand out from any other fullback, to me, I think, I'm afraid, is gone. So it really doesn't give us anything on the field whatsoever. When it comes to the actual captaincy part of it, who would you make captain of the team at the moment? I mean, Butland perhaps, but apart from that, is there any other standout candidates that you think that could really get the players rallied and do what Tav should be doing? I really can't think of one, to be perfectly honest with you.
No, that's
worrying.
That's the problem, yeah.
That is worrying.
I don't think we can look at it in that respect, though, because there's meant to be a leadership group there, so whether a new one's been formed or there's not been one formed yet, I don't know.
Who the hell's a leadership group in there? I really can't see it. I can't see anything. And another thing that I wanted to speak about, Derek, as well, very briefly, and this is where I'm going to give the manager some stick, and you know I have supported him, and I'm not one for getting the manager out and stuff like that, not at all. But he's been there long enough to know what Celtic's game plan's going to be against us. He's been there long enough to say we need to change this. Why is he not doing what we're harking back to the days of Walter Smith? Walter Smith used to go to Celtic Park and put 5 in defence, 4 in midfield, all battlers, and have his one flair player up front, and the amount of success we got was absolutely sensational, and we didn't play great at all. Very few times did the Walter Smith team go to Celtic Park and play really good football. I can really only think of one, and that was the day that we won the league. Maybe a cup game when we've got the likes of George Alberts, but the rest of the time he just put out a team that wasn't going to get beat, a team full of battlers in there. And why does the manager not just try something like that? Because no one was expecting us really to get a result there. Any Rangers fan can turn around and say, that's a lot of nonsense. But to get beat the way that we did again and again, surely the manager's got to say, right, I've actually got 3 good defenders here. I've got one on the bench and Balogun in there who's played in this game and been successful in this game before. I'm going to put 3 at the back with 2 defensive fullbacks. I'm going to sit 2 defenders in front, and I'm going to make it as difficult for them as possible. Try and get out to half time and then try something. But we've never done that. We've never ever done it. Anytime we've been at Celtic Park and it happened again, and it was just so so depressing to see us play the same tactics again against them and to be picked off so easily. It's something has got to change. He's surely got to see that.
This is my problem with having a defined style of play, and I don't care if you're Rangers, Celtic or whoever. When you've got a defined style of play, you will get found out at some point because a team will understand how to unlock the way you play. This is why you need to change your tactics for every game. So that kind of goes back to what you're saying. Yes, you need to play a certain way against Celtic at Parkhead. You can maybe go more attacking at Ibrox, yes. But yeah, I just don't understand what's happening just now. Some things, I've defended Clement before and he used to talk a lot of sense. Now he's coming out with some strange shit.
He's turning into Pedro a wee bit, isn't he?
I mean, coming away with nonsense about the stats. Well, you look at the stats, there was 4 on target for each team, there was X, Y and Z the same for each team. That doesn't tell the story of the game.
No, not at all.
Celtic had dangerous shots, we never. Our chances largely came towards the end in the last 10 minutes when the game was done. So it's not telling the story of the game, because if he thinks that does, then he needs to go and watch the game back. I mean, this is why I don't like the whole Moneyball football thing and XG and all that, and basing your opinions on stats, because stats only tell a part of the game. And then when he was coming out about shit about, oh yeah, it's not that bad because we had just had the best performance we've had again. We won 6-0 against Ross County. It's Ross County against your home fans, effectively. I know it was at Hampden, but it's at home. This is against your biggest rivals and the only ones that's going to compete for the title against you. So
is he, in his way, trying to protect his players? I don't know. I don't know if I like that, to be perfectly honest with you. As I say, I keep harking back to Walter Smith, but even the likes of Alec McLeish, Stephen Gerrard as well, which I hate. It's annoying me the amount of fans that keep harking back to Stephen Gerrard, and I'm about to do it. But you could tell that if the players weren't playing right, how raging that they were when they came out and spoke at the end. But Clement doesn't seem to be that type of manager. He looks as if he's trying to protect his players at all times, which is admirable. I give him that, but I think I would have preferred for the players looking back at that to say, oh dear, the manager is totally pissed off with the way that we played here, even if he's not came out directly and said it, but he's not doing that. And I think a lot of fans are feeling the same way. So I was a bit disappointed, a bit confused by some of the stuff that he was saying, and he's done that a few times now. But as I say, I still stand by him, Derek. I think all this nonsense, and a lot of Rangers fans are, to be fair, they all know that as well. Getting rid of a manager and starting again isn't the way to go. We are on a rebuild, but it was just such a embarrassing, pathetic performance, and the whole, the fact that we were just out-muscled. Completely out-muscled, even by wee guys on the park like Greg Taylor. I mean, I looked at Cherny, I had high hopes for that guy, and to see him get the ball and instantly get tackled and lose the ball constantly. The same with McCausland, he couldn't keep the ball, he was just getting battered. And big Cyril up front, the guy who you look at and you think will have a physical presence, he was just easily getting shoved off the ball by Carter Vickers every single time. There was no fight there whatsoever. And you'll go absolutely mental here, Derek. I know you will. But you're trying to tell me right now, if a fit Alfredo Morelos was playing against Cameron Carter Vickers, he would get easily barged off the ball. He would absolutely no chance. He would be up for the fight. Every time I looked at Dessers, he was complaining to the referee constantly. The big boy did it and ran away. That's what he looked like. The time that he got hit in the face and he had a wee bit of blood on his lip, he looked as if he was about to cry to the referee as well. And I thought, this is just really pathetic. And he really pissed me off, Dessers, big time, more than he ever has, by the way. I was so annoyed by the way that he played on Saturday, because he had those chances but didn't lead the line. None of the front four did. They couldn't keep a hold of the ball at all. They weren't giving the midfield and the defence a chance to come up and support because they couldn't keep the ball. It was just really powder puff, really embarrassing stuff.
Much like the old saying, it's not what you said, it's the way you said it. It's not the fact that we got beat, it's the way we got beat. And that's what annoys me more. There's not really much more I can
No,
add there,
no,
Dave.
there's no. I've kind of said everything that I needed to say there. Aye.
So it seems to be that the breaks are coming at very opportune times because we've got into another international break just now. The next game we've got is Sunday the 15th of September. It's away against Dundee United in the Premiership. That's a midday kick-off.
Which will be a very difficult game.
Yeah, because they're riding high just now. I think they're
Big
sitting
time,
third,
yes.
aren't they? So
At Tannadice, it's going to be a really difficult game for us.
the next game, it's Saturday the 21st of September. It's at home against Dundee in the League Cup quarter-final, and that's a 17:30 kick-off. Dave, when I say home, Rangers have confirmed it will be at Ibrox
It
for
will
that
be at
game.
home, yeah.
The Copeland stand will not be open as the concourse and seating works are still ongoing. However, they're obviously going to be sorting the pitch and allowing other fans in for the other three stands. Those in the Copeland stand who've got season tickets will be offered an exclusive window to buy tickets, apparently. You know, as much as it's been a shit show, from the videos I've seen, they've actually been redoing the concourses and the toilets in that stand as well. I mean, it makes sense. The roof was literally off, so it really had to get done. It'll be interesting to see how it is once it gets opened, because the whole concourse and the food areas and the toilets were badly needing done as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Yep. Next one is Thursday the 26th of September, away against Malmo in the Europa League Game 1. That's a 17:45 kick-off. Saturday the 28th of September, that's a home against Hibs in the Premiership. That's a 1500 kick-off. That will likely be moved though, because obviously we're playing against Malmo a couple of days before. So obviously I mentioned the Europa League fixtures there. They've all been announced, and Dave, that is an absolute horrendous group.
It's absolutely horrendous. It is. We have got some absolute powerhouses in there, haven't we?
I mean, see, if you wanted a glamour tie, we certainly got
Yes.
that. But, Dave, we are going to get absolutely annihilated. The coefficient is going to plummet this year. You'll be lucky if...
Oh dear, I know. Oh my God. You're actually making me more depressed than we finished speaking about the Celtic game.
Yeah, so obviously by now everybody knows it's a different format. It's a 36, just one group of 36. The top 8 go automatically through to the last 16. The next 16 teams go into another two-legged playoff, and they will then, the winner of that will go through to the last 16, and the bottom 8 go out entirely, and there's no drop down into the Conference League. So we've been drawn against Malmo, Lyon, Steaua Bucharest, Olympiacos, Nice, Spurs, Man United and Union Gillois.
There we go.
Yes, so what's weird is Spurs don't play the 7 other teams that we play. You know, they've got different teams as well. It was all part of a newfangled computerized draw, so they don't have the exact same. I think they maybe play a couple of teams, but not all them all.
Bizarre, right, yeah.
Yeah, they've done the exact same with the Champions League as well, so just UEFA and their weird ways.
To say that I'm not looking forward to the Spurs game is an understatement. To say that I'm not looking forward to Man United, even although they are probably the English equivalent of Rangers at the moment with how bad they are, I still don't think we've got enough to get anywhere. A sniff of them. There's maybe only a couple of other teams which on paper we would like to fancy our chances, but with the way that we're playing just now, Derek, there's no many teams that I do fancy our chances against.
Do you know what's annoying, Dave, is a couple of years ago I would have said we could match, if not beat, Man United and Tottenham.
I'm telling you. Well, I don't know about Tottenham. They are a different animal, especially at home. If it was away from home, maybe a couple of seasons back, but certainly the way that Manchester United are playing, I would have been desperate to see that game. But really, right now, things are so bad that there are only maybe 1 or 2 teams in that group that we may scrape a victory against. But I really hope I'm wrong, Derek. I really hope by that point something drastically is changed with the way that the team's playing. But defensively, we are just a shambles at the moment, aren't we?
So the games are spread out from now until the end of January. Thursday the 26th of September, that's away against Malmo, that's a 5:45 kickoff. Thursday the 3rd of October, that's at home to Lyon, that's an 8pm kickoff. Thursday the 24th of October, at home to Steaua Bucharest, that's an 8pm kickoff. Thursday the 7th of November, that's away to Olympiacos, that's a 5:45 kickoff. I've got a gig that night, so I don't think I'll be able to see any of the game. Thursday the 28th of November, away to Nice, that's an 8pm kickoff. Thursday the 12th of December, at home to Spurs, it's an 8pm kickoff. Thursday the 23rd of January, away to Man U, that's an 8pm kickoff. And Thursday the 30th of January, at home to USG, that's an 8pm kickoff. So about the only good thing I can see about that is 6 out of the 8 games are 8pm kickoffs.
Okay, I was getting a bit confused there. I got confused thinking it was Spurs away, Manchester United at home, but as you've just corrected me, it's the opposite way about. It's still going to be incredibly difficult, isn't it? There's, I mean, as you say, for glamour ties, it's all there, fantastic, but realistically, it's not great for us, is it?
So, yeah, we'll now go into the news. Not much news to talk about this time. However, we have announced Elior as our new food and beverage partner with immediate effect. Elior have previously been our food supplier and they take over from Levy. It's not really a hard thing to organise, surely, having decent quality, low prices, rather than shite quality and high prices. Yeah. I hope they get it right this time. However, from listening to Heart and Hand, by the sound of it, they've bid a massive bid, and that's what won them the contract. Yeah. So they might just be churning out the same shite time and time again. So
we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Next thing, there was a story about an American investor group buying shares in the club, and they viewed the club as valued at £150 million. Of course, with the ill feeling towards the current board just now, fans jumped on that saying, fuck the board, get these investors in, and they're going to pump £150 million in. No, that was not the case. They valued the club at £150 million. They wouldn't also be buying shares that are on the free market. They would be more than likely buying shares that are already bought by existing investors. So any money they pumped in initially, unless they done an actual a further investment, the money would be going to the existing shareholders to buy the shares. The bigger issue for me is, have you learned absolutely nothing from 2012? You're quite happy for an unnamed group of foreign investors to come in just because you hate the fucking current board. Absolutely ridiculous. Fortunately though, the biggest shareholder, Dave King, came out and absolutely rubbished the story. He said that there's no foreign investors trying to buy the shares at all. So there was previous American investors meant to be involved in us as well, maybe putting a bid in, but that never materialised. So yeah, I think people just need to watch what they're wishing when it comes to the current board, because yeah, as much as the current board have made mistakes, they are technically the owners of the club, and unless you have got a massive Rangers fan who is a rich billionaire wanting to come in and make an investment, which, let's be honest, they weren't battering down our door when they could have got the club for a song, you need to watch what you're asking for when it comes to getting rid of the board, don't you?
Right, Derek, get your wallet out.
Mothballs.
No, it is a difficult one. I think just the way that everything is going just now, we're just clinging to some sort of hope, and a lot of fans are as well, without actually knowing exactly what is going on. It's such a difficult position. It's me and you have spoke about the board at length, good and bad. I think as a fan base, we're just looking for some sort of encouragement, some sort of good news, aren't we? And it's not happening.
No. Next thing here is Barron has received his first Scotland call-up ahead of the Nations League fixtures. Whether he gets a game or not is another story. I'm delighted for him to get a call-up. However, at the same time, we've got enough injuries just now. I would rather he didn't actually play. Of course, the usual goons from the other side of the city and beyond, they're saying that well seen, as soon as he gets a move to Rangers, he gets a call-up. Yeah, because there's been plenty of Rangers players over the past 4 or 5 years getting a call-up, hasn't there?
Yeah, and Barron has been a mainstay in the under-21 team and was also almost getting a call up for the Euros when he was playing for Aberdeen, so that's an absolute piece of nonsense how they're coming away with that, because he has been on the fringes of the national team, before that anyway. So
yep. The last piece of news here I've got is it's just been announced today that our fixture at Ibrox on the 6th of October against St Johnstone is now going to be played at 8 p.m. So it was a Sunday in any case. It's now going to be played at 8 p.m. because the Great Scottish Run is being held on the same day, which would obviously mean road closures around Ibrox. So, fans raging at the club for agreeing to this, Dave. I don't think we had any option in it. Apparently Rangers did put alternatives out for slightly better times than that, which St Johnstone turned down. Their prerogative as well. They are travelling from Perth. I know it's not a million miles away, but they've got their own club to think about. But overall, it's absolute shit for the fans, especially because on Sunday the subway closes at 6 p.m, which is a joke in itself. Yeah, no, it will be difficult, and as you say, if the club have tried to come up with alternative solutions, and if it's just not been possible, then their hands have been tied there, and it's no ideal for anyone really on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock. No. At least I'll get peace to watch the game when the kids are in bed. That's true, yeah. So, it's time for Fesshole Corner. Quality. You've got to actually give us a wee laugh now, Derek, after all that doom and gloom. The plumber working in my house told me he follows Fesshole, so hopefully finds this. The dildo I saw you sniffing that you found in the wardrobe isn't my wife's, it's mine. Oh. The wife's hairdryer broke out of the blue. I bought her a swanky new one, getting much love for it from her. Very thoughtful, apparently. The real reason for getting it is because I missed the feel of me drying my balls every day. Spent a good chunk of the last 20 years complaining to my wife about the kids leaving skid marks on the toilet bowl. The youngest moved out 2 weeks ago, and it turns out it's been my wife the entire time. That took a turn completely what I thought you were going to say. Saw my husband cleaning his anus with the shower head. But it was his pose, legs together, knees slightly bent, left hand spreading his arse, that has me googling divorce lawyers. And to round the stories off this episode, I recently sold a small vacuum online. I hoovered my pubes up with it just before I posted it off. Oh my god. So, on that delightful note, we will end the podcast. So, there's really no much way to round that out, Dave. It's been a shambles. Yep. What a way a defeat in an Old Firm game can leave you feeling. It really has. Like I said before, there's not many Rangers fans were expecting us to go to Celtic Park and get a result, but to be defeated in the way that we were, is the bit that's really hard to take. So I really hope that the players and the team are feeling as bad as we are with all of this, and we just really have to hope that the new signings that we've brought in hit the ground running like instantly, and make the team instantly better than they have been. That's all we can hope for at this stage. Yep. So, thanks for listening and goodbye. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.